James Kaufman, World News Report today. Today is August 24th, 2023, 12:30 p.m. Central here in the U.S. God bless you and yours no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. We've got a lot on our plate currently. We currently have 6 tropical disturbances in both the Atlantic and Pacific, and that would include Tropical Storm Franklin. Now, just this morning, we woke up to another disturbance, this one in the Pacific, with a chance of jumping the Pacific and making its way in between Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula. This currently with a 50% chance of formation, headed right into the Gulf of Mexico. Just what nobody needed currently. Now we will take a look at Franklin's spaghetti models, and we'll take a look at these other disturbances as well. This one with a 70% chance of formation, this one with a 40% chance of formation, both headed to the north and won't affect the continental U.S. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, we have 2 disturbances off the coast of Mexico. One closer to the coast with an 80% chance of formation. The other one a little bit further out with a 70% chance of formation. This very well could mean that the United States West Coast is hit once again by a tropical depression, a tropical storm, or maybe even a real hurricane. The disturbance that's close to the shore of Mexico is headed just along the shore north, and it's the one with a larger percentage of chance of formation, and it's headed towards warmer waters, so we'll see what happens. It's basically on the same track as Hurricane Hilary. Taking a quick look at our enhanced satellite, this is Franklin here, just north of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, and it's not doing much and doesn't even seem to be spinning in the proper direction. This appears to be the tropical disturbance that perhaps will jump over Central America into the Caribbean and work its way into the Gulf of Mexico if all goes as forecast. It looks like it has a much larger than a 50% chance of formation. I'm sure that will be increased as it jumps over into the much warmer water. We also have a disturbance up here in the Gulf that we're going to take a look at in just a second. Now, I will say that it doesn't look like they know what Franklin's going to do. Tropical Storm Franklin here, 998 millibars of central pressure, and it's headed northeast at 7 miles per hour. It looks like they're questioning themselves. We'll take a look at the spaghetti model itself. Very strange direction for this storm. All right, here are the spaghetti models themselves. You can see that all of them make their way along the east coast of the U.S., but it looks like nothing substantial happens. They do have this turning into a Category 1 and 2 hurricane over the next several days, or the next few days really, but again, it doesn't look like it will be in play for the United States of America or even Canada. All right, taking a look at our enhanced satellite radar, Gulf of Mexico, we see a large disturbance here headed very quickly to the west, just south of the Florida Peninsula and Alabama and Mississippi. It looks like this disturbance will make it into Texas very quickly at this pace. Strange to have Franklin moving to the right, and all of this action moisture we can see is moving west. Very, very strange, to say the very least. We could use some water over here, so let's hope that this doesn't form and get any stronger and that it does deliver some rain to the Texas Gulf Coast. Fingers crossed. Now, we do have some time period that there is no Sahara dust layer, sand layer, and it clears up here. And this is looking at Sunday, completely clear. You can see these storms inside the sand, which is making them very hard This is Franklin right here. Very hard to form, and these are the other two disturbances that look like they strengthen and go off to the north. And on this forecast model, we don't see anything jumping over. We do see a lot of sand here. That's currently hitting Texas. I've got terrible allergies, can barely speak, and lots of Mexico, Central America, etc. But it does seem to disappear. I don't see anything in the way of any moisture jumping over, at least via the sand. But we do see, this is Franklin here, where they have it heading. Nowhere really. Seems to just sit there, while all of the other activity pushes west very hard. Very strange. All right, over to windy.com. We can see Franklin sitting right here. We'll see what happens to it. We're going to put this in motion. So we're looking at actual winds. Then we have two, and I want to call them high pressure fronts coming through that will push through into the U.S. Maybe three here. The problem is they're all spinning the wrong way. High pressure fronts in the northern hemisphere should always spin clockwise, while low pressure fronts in the northern hemisphere should always spin counterclockwise, just as you see Franklin doing right here. All of these are spinning counterclockwise, all three of them, which should not be happening. All right, this is current. Let's put this in play with AI and see what happens. Keep an eye on Franklin here. These other disturbances that I believe are heading north here. You can see them. Again, jumping over. I see no winds. There is a disturbance here, but these are the two that we saw off the coast of Mexico. This is the one I was worried about following Hillary's tracks. And please watch, these fronts come together here. This front still is offshore here, off the coast of Oregon and California, but it's still spinning like a low pressure system, as you can see here. All right. This is Franklin. Windy has it going much closer to the U.S. than thought. I see nothing jumping over. There is something forming here on the tip of Cuba. It's like it's headed towards Florida. This is strengthening big time Franklin into a 1, 2, maybe 3 class. This looks like it becomes a cyclone for sure and hits Florida. That could be what they're indicating here. And everything coming on shore here is spinning like a low pressure system. Very confusing. We have a new system here coming off the coast of Florida. This is going to be Thursday of next week. And we have a couple in play. And Franklin almost or may have hit North Carolina. Let's take a look at that. Nope, that's not going to be Franklin at all. This is Franklin. This is going to be the system that's jumping over Central America into the Caribbean, into Florida. It's actually reforming here, and it looks like it just hugs the coast here all the way up to North Carolina, perhaps, and then might head out. We'll see about that. You can see that Franklin looks like it did hit parts of the coast of northern Canada up there. So this could be quite an interesting, or will be quite an interesting week ahead of us. All right, so this system here, it looks like the moisture is jumping over into the Caribbean. It's going to start formation. Looks like around the tip of Cuba there. They look like they all have it going into Florida and then maybe skipping over into the Atlantic Ocean and perhaps impacting a second time on the east coast of the U.S. So keep your eyes open. Stay prepared for Mother Nature. Mother Nature has been quite busy this year, and it's good to be prepared if you live on the coast, inland, no matter where you live, based on what we've seen. Please share, subscribe, and always remember that anything is possible in Bizarro World.